Man, the Klipsch R-50Ms, they are on the desk. We've listened to them for about 2 days now, Saturday and a little bit of Sunday. As of this recording is Sunday. The reviews that they have on their website is 4.9 stars out of 5. That is an exceptional rating. Everybody likes them. Great reviews. And so going into this review for myself, I wanted to keep that in mind. 4.9 stars out of 5. Will I feel the same way? Let's play a sound demo real quick, and then I'll tell you straight off the bat if I feel the same way or not. I'm going to play that same song, but with words this time.
A little different than all the rest. I quite old-fashioned, wear a hat, sometimes play chess. And when I'm out,
So what I immediately like about the Klipsch R-50s is actually the Tractrix horn. Surprisingly, there's no fatigue. I told you guys in my unboxing video, I didn't really think that fatigue stigma, that bright sound that Klipsch is known for is a really good thing. They're still a very bright speaker, but it's not as harsh as they used to be. I think that criticism has really made them change a lot of things about their speakers, and so I don't really think that's a big thing in their lineup anymore, and these are included. It's actually pretty pleasing to listen to, especially this kind of music. Sounds really balanced for the most part. The biggest weakness that these speakers have is their 58 hertz rating as far as their lowest extension. They're not exaggerating. This thing doesn't go much past 60 hertz at all. It drops off a steep cliff as soon as you hit about 55, 56, 57 hertz. It is gone. And so it limits the kind of music you can listen to, or it limits the type of application you can put these in. For example, these would be good in home theater in the surround sound. I probably would never think about putting them anywhere near the front stage. It just wouldn't make any sense. They just don't have the characteristics for it. Even listening to music like 2-channel, it's tough because they have no bass to it. So music tends to just sound flat. Not flat as in like a linear response, but flat as in there's no excitement to it. Songs like this, though, does bring a little bit of joy back. Now, let's go back to the beginning when I said they have a 4.9 star out of 5 review, and do I feel the same way? I do not feel the same way. I personally would give these a 3.5 stars out of 5, maybe 4. And the reason being is because, check this out. There are 3 speakers that I've heard, and one of them I've reviewed on the channel already, that are better than these speakers by a long shot, and they are the same price or just a tad bit more. For example, the Triangle Borea BR03, I had those on the desk a couple months ago, and I love those speakers. They're right now priced at $388. These retail at $399. They're on sale right now for $299, okay, but they retail for $399. And these Borea, the Borea BR03s sound better in just about every way, and they have more bass in them, so they're better for more genres of music. They're about the same size, maybe a little bit taller, and they weigh more than these Klipsch speakers do. They look pretty good and come in like 4 or 5 different color options, which is amazing to see at this price point. They sound better than these do, and they cost overall MSRP $10 less than the Klipsch do. I'm getting the Triangles over these all day. So that's one speaker. Now you can fork out a little bit more money. You can save about $200 more and go for the Q150s, and those sound better as well. More bass, better response. It's a coaxial driver, so the tweeter and the mid-range are built together, so it's a seamless sound stage. Those sound better than the Klipsch speakers do too. If you want to save a couple $100 more, then you can have yourself a pretty big step up in sound quality and capability. And then the Polk Signature Elite ES20s are also $399. That come in different colors as well, and they sound better than the Klipsch speakers, and they dig deeper in bass. All 3 of these speakers give you more bass performance. And bass isn't everything, but it makes a huge difference. If a speaker can do a lot of the work on its own, that's very impressive. And there's a lot of speakers out there. These are just 3 to name. I know Fluence has some. Yamo has some speakers that Klipsch owns that may be better than these. So I give it 3.5 stars out of 5 because there's things around this price point that can do better. But these speakers are still good for what they are too. Let's just play another song. It's music like this that sounds really good. I mean, it sounds really good. This is where this is the music that pushes it from 3.5 stars to 4, because it has a lot of mid-range bass, and these speakers have a lot of mid-range bass. Now that could be a problem if you're like an R&B, hip hop, pop music kind of listener. Maybe not these. Don't listen to these because actually the mid-range is overemphasized. When it comes to those kinds of music, it didn't sound too good, and it really accents the lack of bass because you have no bass, and then all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of mid-range, so it just sounds kind of weird. But jazz music and things like this that kind of sit in that 65, 70, 80, 85, 90 hertz range actually sounds pretty good on this. Very smooth, to be honest with you. Now, I listen to these both near field like they are right now, so really close to me, and I've listened to them in my home theater, and they sound pretty good for near field, to be honest with you. Even having a huge horn going right to your ears actually doesn't hurt too bad. It doesn't sound bad at all. Really pleasing sound. I could probably get some work done on my desk, edit some YouTube videos, and let these play while I'm doing that, and it would be a pretty enjoyable experience. The bass is actually really smooth in the mid-range for the speaker and its capabilities. I'm actually pretty impressed with that. I didn't expect to get that out of these speakers. But again, there is smoother mid-range on some of the other competitors that I mentioned earlier. So it is what it is. But really nice sound. The mid-range kind of has the same emphasis as the treble does, so it kind of meshes well together. The treble is still very bright, it's still very active, but so is the mid-range. So when you get songs like this, it actually does pretty well. I want to try maybe a piano song and see how it does with that kind of music. So that actually sounds pretty nice too, and playing that kind of music really tests the speaker's ability to play larger than it is as far as the soundstage goes. These speakers have a really tall soundstage, surprisingly, meaning that the sound doesn't sound like it's coming from here and coming from here. It sounds like it's coming from a lot bigger of a space than it is. It doesn't feel like I'm right next to the speakers. There's still a huge sense of space with these speakers, at least the way that I'm listening to them now. And I had that same effect when I was listening to them in my home theater. They have a really big soundstage for how small the speaker is, coming in at 11 pounds as well. It's not a big speaker whatsoever, but they 100% do play a lot larger than they look, which is awesome. I think they look really good too. I think Klipsch speakers have always looked pretty good. And these look really nice too. I like the difference of finish between the front baffle and then the rest of the cabinet. It's a really nice contrast. And then of course you have your Klipsch reference logo in gold or copper color, I guess you can say. And then you have your copper speaker. So it looks really good. So it's a presentable speaker for sure. It'll look good in most people's decor and it'll blend in really well because they are small. But don't be fooled, because they are small, they do have a really big sound stage. I'm very impressed with that. And a lot of that is a lot of weight towards that 3.5, 4 stars is how big they play and how well they do with the jazz music and their anything like a bass guitar or something like that, or maybe even like a cello piano kind of music. Those sounds good. Those sounds good too. Now here's what kind of keeps it in that 3.5 star range is the male voices. Again, we mentioned that it has an issue with bloated mid-range sometimes, and that's male voices. Male voices sit between, I don't know, maybe 80 hertz, 90, 100, depending on your timbre. Maybe even lower, like 70 or so, and that's when you get into trouble because it overemphasizes the mid-range sometimes, and voices kind of sound like more like this when they shouldn't. You lose a little bit of articulation in the voice because the mid-range is so emphasized. But overall, I think these deserve a 3.5, 4 stars out of 5. 4.9, you're lying. You're absolutely lying. Let's do one more and then call it a day. Yeah, they sound 3.5 stars out of 5, which is good. Honestly, it's really good. There's a little bit of a competitor difference. Some things sound a little bit better at the same price point, but it is what it is. Klipsch has a very loyal fan base for sure. So if you like Klipsch before this video, you're gonna like Klipsch now. If you like Klipsch speakers before these came out, you're gonna like these speakers now. Klipsch has a really loyal fan base, which is why their reviews are so high. People just like the sound. They know what they're going to get out of them at the end of the day, which I completely understand. Coming from a person who's listened to a lot of different types of speakers in different applications in different rooms, I have a little bit of a different take on these speakers because I have heard better at this price point as of recently, actually. So, but 3.5 stars, maybe 4 out of 5. I do appreciate their large soundstage. I do appreciate at times they're pretty smooth mid-range for certain genres of music. Things like that, not so much, but jazz music, things like that, cafe music, lo-fi music, sounds pretty good on these speakers here. I wouldn't do any critical listening because they're just not built for that, to be honest with you. I still think these do best in a surround sound application. I don't really think you want to put them on a front stage unless you have a bedroom home theater or a very small living room, then maybe they'll be okay. You're going to have to put a subwoofer with them. Even if you're listening for 2-channel, you're going to have to put a subwoofer with them, so keep that in mind if you're shopping for these for music. Buy a subwoofer to match. But 3.5 stars, maybe 4 out of 5. Let's just say 4. Let's just pick a number. 4 stars out of 5 on these speakers. I do think there are things out there that are better, but if you are a Klipsch fanboy, if you have Klipsch speakers in your home now, you'll be happy with these for sure. But do keep in mind, if you're building a home theater and you haven't bought speakers yet, I would audition other speakers before these first, before you pull your trigger on these, just so you can get an idea of what you may or may not like. So leave me a comment down below and let me know what you guys think about the Klipsch R-50Ms. Have you heard them before? They're in Best Buy, so if you want to hear them, you can hear them. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Hit that like button and subscribe if you are not already. We will see you guys in the next video. Kpaceguy out. Peace.
You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down.